The Elegoo Centauri Carbon has finally landed in the greedy 3D Mancave. Let's take a closer look. Elegoo's latest CoreX printer arrived safely, swaddled in packaging. For clarity, I bought this printer myself directly from Elegoo, paying £299. This has not been gifted to me for review purposes. Now, everything I needed was in the box. What I didn't need, however, was this bloody sticky tape everywhere. Trying to get it off was an absolute nightmare. Luckily, some nail varnish remover courtesy of Mrs. Greedy got it all off. Now for some therapeutic peeling. There is the small matter of removing 3 of the restraining bolts, and once that's done, we pop the screen on. Now, the screen wasn't too hard to put on. Luckily, there was enough cable to make it fairly easy. Took a bit of fiddling, but on it was. More therapeutic peeling. A quick snip and you are good to go. Power is supplied to the unit via a kettle lead at the back of the machine with an on-off rocker switch. There is a poop vent at the back of the machine, and also at the back is where the Bowden tube enters in. No time for any more therapy. The lid sits on the top. This is a glass tempered lid. I don't think we're going to get any smashing Uncle Jesse style. And on the side is the spool holder. Yes, it's on the side. It's a little bit flexible, but it's on the side. There is a run out sensor sitting on the side also, and this is where you feed in your filament. Setting up the actual unit was easy and simple. It was a good user interface, well controlled. Everything was legible. You could go through it relatively easy. It reminded you to take the hex screws out. It asked you if there was any foreign objects in there, and then it started the self-check process. Now, this process took a long time. I suggest you make yourself a coffee. Now, the self-levelling process seemed to take forever, but thank the Lord, no more using paper. Not in these days. I'll wait all day for self-levelling if I haven't got to use bleeding paper. The self-checks are soon completed, and the next thing to do is to go into the network, find your Wi-Fi and add your password to get yourself connected to the Tinter Webinet. Once you have done that, check for updates, and once you're connected to the internet, this is a quick and easy process. It found an update, a quick click, it downloaded it, unpacked it and installed it. Everything was done hassle free. Loading in your filament is really easy. Into settings, into extruder, heat it up, push your filament through, and when you see it popping out of the hot end, you are ready to go. Take your USB stick, which comes with the machine, feed it into the USB slot, which is conveniently located at the front of the machine. I am going to print the Benchy, of course I am. I found it in files, press print. There's 2 options, smooth or textured build plate. We're on the textured side. If I'd have flipped it over, I'd have been on the smooth side. Press print and the printing will begin.
From the Mancave in the UK, watch our videos every day. Classic marvels come to life. Subscribe to see the next delight. Threads and pooling just so fine. Prints so detailed they look divine. From digital to the real, transforming.
Now, like a lot of Core XY printers, this thing vibrates. When you think you're dealing with speeds up to 500mm velocity and 20,000mm of acceleration, everything around it is going to shake. I've experienced this before with my K1, and it virtually destroyed the Mancave. So much so that I had to put a concrete block and a pad underneath it to stop it from vibrating. I think I'm going to have to do the same with the Centauri Carbon. Now, about 10 minutes later, a Benchy is born, and this Benchy is fine. There's no problems with it. It printed it as I would expect it to do, and the latest printers that I've used recently have printed some wonderful Benchies, and this is no exception. There's a little bit of stringing on there, but come on, this PLA has been sat around in my Mancave for a fair few weeks now, getting cold and getting a bit damper, so I'm not surprised at that. I don't hold that against the printer at all. Looks absolutely fine. Closer inspection of the Benchy shows you exactly what you would expect to see. I'm happy with that. You know, this is just a test to make sure that all the bits are moving in the right directions and that everything is printing. I'm not going to test the build volume just yet. That's a 256 by 256 by 256. We'll test that in a bit. I thought it would be interesting now to just show you really quickly, because I forgot to do it earlier, what came in the box with the printer. You get some tools, all the tools you're going to need, screwy bits and hex bits. You get some sticky stick stuff, some glue stick if you want to use different PLAs or ABSs or etc. You get some grease and you get a spare nozzly wipey thing and some scraper blades to use with the scraper that is included on the USB stick, and of course a little bit of PLA to create it. You also get this file for the scoop container, the poop scoop container, which again is printed beautifully with that silk PLA, absolutely beautifully. And we can connect this to the back of the Centauri Carbon. The screws just need a little bit of an untighten, drop it in and your poop scoop is there ready to go. Now, before you can put anything different than what's on the USB on this machine, you need to install the software, and it's all on the USB stick for you to install, so you don't have to go hunting around for it. Installation is really easy and straightforward. There's a couple of little click boxes to select before you get into the nitty gritty, and of course you need to select your printer. It's a 0.04 nozzle. Once you've done all of that, you are presented with a screen to say what kind of material you're going to use on it. I selected all of them because you don't know when I'm going to be using those on them, and then you're presented with a kind of Orca outlook. It's very similar to the Bamboo Labs version. Pop in your IP address so that the printer and the software connect together. Now I'm not going to show you that, of course, and then all you need to do is you can wirelessly send things across to the printer when you're ready to do it. You can access it and you can access the camera. Yes, it's got a camera. You can see all the magic that's going on without having to venture out to your cold man cave at the bottom of the garden. You can turn lights on, fans on, etc, etc, and you can send files across wirelessly. This file here is it's called Toothless. It's a little dragon, and I just thought I would do this for Mrs. Greedy as a thank you for cleaning all that nasty tape off it, and I'm going to use some tree supports just to see how we get on with that. It's going to be done again in the silk PLA from Jam J. I'm going to set it all up rather, and once it's done I'm going to slice it, and this time I'm going to wirelessly send it across to the printer, and that happened flawlessly, and I can start the print from the comfort of my armchair. All was good, and I can even sit there in the warmth sipping a coffee in my greedy 3D mug, and I can watch, courtesy of the camera, the magic happening on the Centauri Carbon. And the magic indeed happened. It took a couple of hours, about an hour and a half I think actually, or an hour and 3/4, and the little dragon, he was printed, and he printed really well. I've got no problems again with the quality of what I see. The supports, it's always a good test to see just how the supports come off, and as you would expect, they just literally fell away under fingertips. I didn't really need any clippers on them, I didn't really need anything caliper wise, they just fell off, and the model itself was undamaged. And if we look at it, it does look like a PLA print. Some of the marks under the chin, some of the marks at the bottom of it, you've got PLA marks there. But when you get past that, because that's all part of PLA printing, that's nothing to do with this printer, it's doing its job and doing it well. That is a really good print presented to Mrs. Greedy. She is happy. I'm okay with what that's done. Now the build surface area is 256 times 256 times 256, so I wanted to just try this R2D2 on there. Again, I've used slimline tree supports, and we're going to crack on with it. Now in the future, multicolour printing I hear is coming Q3 2025, but at the moment you're stuck with one colour only. Now, as we spoke about earlier, there is a run-out sensor on the side of the Centauri Carbon, and on this print my PLA, the silk PLA, ran out, and it told me it was pausing the print. What was interesting was it didn't tell me this as it went through the run-out sensor, it told me this as it reached the hot end, which was a bit strange. I changed the filament over, which was a relatively easy process, to some black Jam J, and look at that, it's printed and everything seems wonderful. It's good to know that the run-out sensor works. I'm a little bit surprised that it takes such a long time between the run-out sensor actually registering there's no PLA in there and the thing asking for more. It's almost as it gets to the hot end, so there must be something else on the hot end, but I'm not sure how they actually work it all. But it works, and you can't see a difference. There's no shifting, there's no obvious change apart from the colour in the model. And again, this model has come out beautifully. Okay, the top of it is going to need a bit of work, and the bottom, but overall looks wonderful. So like I said at the start of the review, I've bought this Centauri Carbon. This hasn't been gifted to me for review purposes. I paid £299 for the machine and around about 30 quid for delivery. So the price, absolutely amazing. Now I'm not going to talk about tariffs and all the rest of it, because when you look at this video the price may be completely different, but now $299, £299, and you'll get the machine plus your postage costs. So as a Core XY closed system printer, I've really found this to be excellent. The quality, it's got a die-cast design, and although it's surrounded in plastic, which is a little bit flimsy in certain places where you can move the spool holder around, I found the thing to be really, really sturdy. The speeds of it, I mean, it throws out some prints at 500 millimeters per second velocity and 20,000 millimeters per second squared acceleration. The thing flies around. As a result of that, of course, you're going to get some vibration, so you may need to make sure you sort that out by putting it on a firm table. You don't want it anywhere near resin printers when they are printing, as it will ruin those prints. Maybe a piece of concrete or some foam underneath it, but make sure it's on a sturdy table and just be aware of what is around it. The build size volume, fairly standard for a printer of this kind at 256 times 256 times 256, and don't forget that build plate has either got a textured side, or if you flip it over, it's got a smooth side. And the good thing with that as well is in the software you can tell it which side you are using. It's got a camera, which I think is amazing, so you can have some time-lapse shots and you can, more importantly, see what's going on. So if you've got a failure, it's going to pick it up straight away. It's got a run-out sensor that absolutely works. I'm not quite sure how it works, because I would have thought when it went through the run-out sensor it would kind of stop and then you change the filament, but it doesn't. It seems to feed it all the way in to the hot end. How it knows that, I don't know, unless there's another run-out sensor in the hot end, but perhaps Elegoo can answer that one. But either way, the thing absolutely works, and it works really, really well. It's also got power loss recovery, which is a fantastic thing to have, and a right-sided spool holder. Elegoo have not put it on the back. Yippee, thank you, Elegoo. One thing that did surprise me about it was when I left it running overnight, I went back to it in the morning, all the fans were running on it like mad, even though it had finished a few hours before. So I don't know if you can put it into some kind of sleep mode, Elegoo, or arrange something in an update so that when it has finished printing, surely you don't need all your fans running like mad and you're just burning up people's electricity and wearing out your fans. I'm sure there's something you can look at for that. Software was easy. It was fantastic. It's based on Orca. It works. It connects wirelessly, so I had no problem sending files across to it. I've got to be honest, I am really impressed with the Centauri Carbon, and for 300 quid for a closed Core XY, it is a bargain, and it's done really, really well. Now, in this review, I haven't tested all sorts of wild and elaborate PLAs and ABSs, etc. But I do tend to do that moving forward. But for now, just for what I've got and just a week or so playing with it, I'm absolutely chuffed with this printer. Let me know what you think in the comments, whether you've used it, whether you like it, are you buying one, are you waiting for yours to arrive? Please subscribe to the channel. It's a quick click and you're there, you've subscribed. Let me know what you think of this review. If you want to join the Greedy 3D Patreon, all the details will be down below for you to have a look at. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful printer. Look at other reviews as well. I know Fohammer have done a review on this. Go and check that out, because he talks a lot more technical stuff than me. But I've got to be honest, for me, basic 3D printer with a new 3D printer to play with, I absolutely love the Centauri Carbon. Hope you've enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time on Greedy 3D.